Welcome to the FiveStack. My name is Dean. That is Zev, and Zev's Zit on his
Thank
nose.
you.
Pardon me. Yeah.
Zev's Zit, eh? That's what it's going to be called. This is
It's
it over here,
called
everybody.
Gary. Let's call that Zit Gary today because it looks like it has its own personality. Listen, if I've told you once or told other people, no, it's fine, dude. I'm just joking. If I've
No, it's
told
okay.
people 1,000 times prior to actually going on a live stream, television show, anything like this, if you have a zit, don't anger it before you go on. Wait till you're off and then go for it. I'm a big zit guy. I watch Dr. Pimple Popper videos. I'm a big fan of watching, really gross abscesses get corrected. And so I have no issue, but I know that they're, when you fuck with them, they get angry after that. And then you're doing a little, I'll see people love you and your zits. That's what they're just saying.
I thank you for pointing this out in such great detail, and I appreciate you for that. And maybe one day you can teach me how to properly pop a zit. But otherwise, it's just the three of us today on the show. Thank you, everyone, for saying they love me. I appreciate it. He before the show, just to completely psych me out, he said that my zip code, that my pimple looked like it had needed its own zip code.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that big? It's not that big, is it?
No, it's not that big, dude. It's a blemish. You know what the real pisser of the whole thing is
All
that you and I are both in our early 50s. We're exactly the same age, 52. And we still get acne.
You still get acne.
I got one underneath here. I was playing with it the other day, and I was in the car, and I'm giving it the squeeze. Anyway, I thought to myself, my God, this just doesn't end. This doesn't end.
No.
It happened when I was like 14 to 20, went away, and then, you hit 45, 50. It's like, hey, zits, how you doing?
I eat chocolates,
Welcome back.
and they just pop out, and I love chocolates. I love chocolates.
I don't think it's chocolate related. My mom used
Oh.
to tell me it was from masturbating when I was a kid. I was like, she goes, don't do it if you masturbate. I'm a British lady. You'll get zits, and you'll go. My dad was like, you'll go blind too, and I'm like, ooh.
None of that happened,
really,
presumably. So,
well, I can see fine. Yeah, and I don't have any acne, so far so good.
There you go. Well, let's do the FiveStack. It's the top 5 stories of the day with Dean Blundell and Zev Shalev. Everyone should check out Dean Blundell's Substack, deanblundell.substack.com. It's amazingly good. It's always chock full of stuff. And there's a lot in there about Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And boy, in just the last few minutes, things are heating up like crazy.
Oh.
So in a Truth Social bombshell, Trump threatened to terminate Elon Musk's government contract, saying, the easiest way to save money is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. Trump revealed Musk was wearing thin and just went crazy, capital everything in that crazy, after being told months ago that EV mandates would be eliminated. The public threat also targets billions in SpaceX, Tesla, and Starlink federal contracts. It follows a little statement in the press conference early on with the German chancellor that also indicated that things are not going well, that they used to be so close and now they're not. Is it the end, Dean Blundell, of the Elon Musk, Donald Trump bromance?
Yeah, I'm going to have to say yes. The divorce is public. This is finally detonated. At first I thought, and I still think there's some type of performative bullshit associated with this feud, but let's just go over today, not even the last 48 hours. And Elon Musk has gone to great lengths to sewer Donald Trump, sewer his bill, sewer maggots, calling for term limits and getting rid of anybody who contributes to the national debt. He's been, interspersing some of these anti-big, beautiful bill tweets, anti-Trump tweets, and really going after Trump today, by the way, with little breadcrumbs of why he's really doing this, which is for his EV tax credits. And just to kind of give you some backstory, if Elon Musk's Tesla company, group of companies, didn't qualify for climate change EV tax credits in the countries that they sell cars, they would be insolvent. They would be bankrupt. That's how they make a lot of their money. And without those tax credits, they lose money. They're a money-losing car company. They're not profitable at all. So that's how important this is. And the big, beautiful, stupid bill that Donald Trump is trying to force through removes all those EV tax credits. So this is why he's really pissed off. But to your point, it has been turned up now to the point where Laura Loomer is weighing in. Kiss of death for anybody. Elon Musk is now putting out a tweet about an hour and a half ago saying food for thought as they ponder this question. Trump has 3.5 years left as president, but I will be around for 40 plus years. So there's a shot.
Wow. He did?
Yeah.
Wow.
He also said Trump would have lost the 2024 election without him in a
Mhm.
tweet that now a lot of people are scrutinizing as a tell, if you will. He said, quote, without me, Donald Trump would have lost the election. Dems would control the House. The Republicans would be 51-49 in the Senate. And then he subtweeted that and said, such ingratitude. So now we're fast forwarding to the last 20 to 30 minutes. Okay.
Mm.
In the last 20 minutes, Elon Musk hasn't just gone after Donald Trump. And I'm going to read this to you. He's gone after Donald Trump, calling him a liar. Donald Trump, like 4 minutes ago, said Elon, quote, was wearing thin. I asked Elon to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. So now he's against, even though he did the Tesla commercial at the White House and the Rose Garden, he's against these Teslas, and now nobody wants them because, of course, Elon Musk is going after Donald Trump. So now Donald Trump has completely flipped the script and said, I hate EVs. I took these away from Elon because he's driving everybody crazy. Nobody fucking drives these cars anymore. And then he says, quote, he knew that for months. He knew I was going to do it. And he just went crazy. Elon Musk then says, this is a fucking lie. And then Donald Trump responds, the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. This is classic turn on a dime Trump. This is classic Elon not getting his own way. And this divorce playing out in public, this is going to sound crude to a lot of my Substackers, but it kind of gives me a semi watching two people who fucking hate each other, who the whole world hates at the same time. One trying to rehabilitate his image by hiding behind the big omnibus bill and saying you're going to be cut into debt slavery for the rest of your life when he's really just fighting for his EV tax credits. And the other guy, a rapist felon, both of which have no problem, being morally flexible, lying, cheating, and stealing to enrich themselves. They are now going at it, and it hasn't been 4 months of Trump in office. And not just going at it, there's threats to fucking legitimately take Elon Musk's businesses away from him in these tweets. There are threats from other maggots that are lining up behind Donald Trump to saying the same thing, remove him from government, cancel Doge, take away Starlink, take away all the infrastructure, make it a government subsidized program owned by the government. And now you got Elon Musk calling him a liar, saying he's not grateful. And without him, he never would have won the election. So now you also have other people going, whoa, 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 what does that mean? Do
What does
tell.
it really mean?
It is it is on. It is not nuclear, it is thermonuclear, and it is on, and I fucking love it, Zev.
You do love it. And, there's nothing nicer than watching two horrible people go at it and then, taking each other down. This is a good moment to be able to see this. On the other hand, just to think about this a little bit more strategically, what's going on here is a breakup of the Trump coalition, the coalition that brought Donald Trump to power. And so, if let's call Russia a party in that coalition, that is the Elon Musk party that's going away. And I don't know what that means, because it lands up with a very, very weak president. I mean, not that that's a bad thing. We sort of want a weak presidency, but this is going to be an extremely weak presidency, because without Russia's backing, without Russia's support, without Elon Musk's support, it's hard to see how we could stand up to any nation in the world right now, whether it's on tariffs or anything else. It looks like we are just going to seem like, and maybe this was a plan all along. Maybe that's the plan all along. Get Trump in power for as long as possible to weaken America's defenses, build up more firepower in Ukraine, and then use that moment to really jettison him when they're ready to get done with him. It just appears to be what they've done. They've sort of like just dumping him, because it's not only him; it's Rand Paul. I keep getting him wrong, and it's also Johnson. Ron Johnson.
Ron Johnson, Wisconsin.
So two like really big Kremlin guys in the Senate are out there along with Musk, trashing this big, beautiful bill and leaving Donald Trump with absolutely nothing left. I mean, there'll be no firepower if this policy bill doesn't land up, becoming reality. It says this entire administration will be a complete zero.
Hmm. Yeah. Listen, strategically, that's a different conversation. The Schadenfreude, I'm still just basking in that of two people the world hates, including myself, that have values of serial killers now going at each other, winner take all. You got the richest man in the world, you got the most powerful man in the world, and some would say, a match that was made in heaven legitimately going the way we knew it was going to go, which is two egos collide. One guy doesn't get what he wants. He then threatens the other guy. The other guy now threatens the other guy back. You got two people literally standing there, that Spider-Man meme, like pointing at each other. You, is that you? Is
Yeah,
this
yeah,
me? We do.
exactly.
But interestingly enough, I think that this breakup, if not projected or telegraphed or engineered, was sort of expected. And I think it plays into a more grand plan because behind Donald Trump, you've got Vice President JD Couchfucker,
Hmm.
who was co-opted from, an academic by Peter Thiel into a hard right religious zealot,
Hmm.
waiting in the wings. And then you've got Peter Thiel, who has his hands all over Palantir and America's information. And you got Donald Trump's former boyfriend, Elon Musk, waiting in the wings, and they're waging war against Donald Trump. And JD Vance hasn't said a word, not a word over the past 3 days about Elon Musk, the omnibus bill. Not a word. He hasn't weighed into any of those conversations. Peter Thiel, not a word, hasn't said a single thing. And they're letting Elon Musk do most of the front door damage here, where he's just kicking and screaming and beating the front door in. And he has now elicited a response from Donald Trump, who, as you point out, when you have and take away Donald Trump's money, digital network, all the influence of the networks around him between Thiel, Musk, Vance, and the Silicon Valley morons, you have a very, very weak Donald Trump.
Hmm.
And now you also have cabinet members who have sided with Elon Musk, and you've got other congressmen and women, senators, who are siding with Elon Musk over this bill. This bill is a mechanism to do something else. And we're seeing that sort of play out in real time. And I think part of it, bringing along a vice president who's wholly unqualified, but completely captured by Peter Thiel in Silicon Valley, is, do we engineer a fight? Do we start something that Donald Trump can't finish, remove all of his funding, all of our support, and go after him with the weight of the digital world, which you and your partners own? And then we can just install our guy and it's
Hmm.
smooth sailing. We get EV tax
That's what
credits,
I'm thinking.
and JD Vance is the president of the United States, and who knows who he makes vice president. So, and they're, what's funny is they've allowed him. They've given him the space, the oxygen, and the room to move to look like a complete fucking moron at every turn in this presidency. And he's done that, whether it
Hmm.
be tariffs, whether he's hanging himself by fighting with Zelensky or the president of South Africa. He had Friedrich Merz in the Oval Office today, which turned into a giant fucking joke when Donald Trump literally went after Elon Musk in the Oval
Hmm.
Office, saying he had Trump derangement syndrome,
Hmm.
saying Elon's gone crazy since he left the regime. That's what people who are around me do when they leave. Some are happy, but some get mad and they're going crazy, and that's what Elon Musk is doing. And Donald Trump does not have an answer for any of these people. He's winging it all the time. And you're talking about some of the smartest, richest people in the world that already have access to the things they wanted to get access to. So Donald Trump, in my mind, to them, he's dispensable at this
Oh
point.
yeah, he's always been dispensable, and that's the thing. I love that you brought up Thiel and Musk because I mean, these guys have been partners in businesses since the '90s. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they've been pretty much very close to each other since they started PayPal back in the '90s. You've got a history there, which makes me think that all of this is a lot more coordinated, a lot more planned, and a lot more.
Excuse me.
There's a lot more detail that's gone into the planning of this than we realize. So, I think that when you see Musk inside Doge using Palantir, which is owned by Peter Thiel, you've got the culmination of a 20-something year history of these guys wanting to take over the US government and turn it into their little digital fiefdoms. And now they've obviously done it or close to have done it. And they don't need Donald Trump anymore. Now they need their guy Vance in there. And one of the reasons Vance was selected because he was so young that they can keep him in power for a very long time.
Hmm.
And he's so beholden to them that I think he would just be and where is he? Like, where is he in the last few days? We have not seen him come out and say, my man Donald Trump is being wrongly accused by Musk. He's not saying that the big beautiful bill needs to be put through or forced through or anything like that. I haven't seen him at all. So you do get the sense that
Convenient,
maybe
isn't it? Yeah, it's
very
really convenient.
convenient
Yeah.
that he's sort of just waiting in the wings for either this president to self-destruct or for them to find a way to politically assassinate him.
Hmm.
And I think that that's where they're heading. I mean, it just seems to me inconceivable that they would need to do this otherwise. I mean, they don't need the infighting. They don't need if the coalition was still together, if the coalition of powers that brought Trump was still together, they wouldn't be doing this publicly.
No, no, and you talk about Vance's convenient silence at this point, and that dumb fuck hasn't been conveniently silent ever, right? Like
Yes,
he
always got something
always
to say.
wades into waters that he can't fucking swim in and does it anyway, makes himself look like a creepy moron. And he hasn't not just stayed away from this topic, this fighting, these conversations, any support for the bill. I haven't heard him talk about the big beautiful bill once. I scoured the internet today after going, where the fuck is JD Vance
True.
when this is going on? And he hasn't said a word about it. So he's kept his wick dry for obvious reasons. Peter Thiel is still hiding in the shadows or closet because that's what Peter Thiel did before he got outed by Gawker. And then he conveniently destroyed Gawker and the entire publication behind Hulk Hogan. Long story. Look it up. It's really good. And you've got Elon Musk doing what Elon Musk does because he's a drug addict, just beating the shit out of people publicly because consequence doesn't matter to him. He's on tilt. He's just going for it. So it's sort of the perfect arrangement. You've got a big money tech guy behind JD Vance. You've got JD Vance, who's beholden to Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and a couple of other Silicon Valley interests. And you have literally everybody circling the wagons that is sided with them. And listen, if it's a choice, if you're in Donald Trump's cabinet or you're a MAGA senator, you're a MAGA congressman or woman, and you're looking at because this is what happens on Capitol Hill. When this stuff happens, you have to make a very quick assessment as to who you're going to support and who you're not going to support. Okay. And you have to pick the right horse. Donald Trump has made a career out of looking like he picks the right horse,
Mm.
sometimes picking the wrong horse. And if he does, he lies and says he never really picked that horse. He picked the other horse. Now you've got everybody behind Donald Trump going, he is weak and effective. He's broke. He's a 34-time felon. He's a rapist, and he's destroying America. And we, as maggots who are taking it on the teeth at these town halls, have an opportunity to line up behind a guy who's also on a reputation rehab image tour right now. This is part of it for Elon Musk, too. How do I claw back all the fucking hatred that was created by what I did with Doge and the Nazi salute and my tanking reputation and EV sales tanking by 80 to 90% in some countries and almost being insolvent to the point where I had to leave the administration or regime just to get back into my seat so that I could give consumers confidence that I'm actually here to do a job that I'm actually here to do. So part of that plays into this as well. It's almost like a stroke of genius, this fighting. Don't think for a second that there isn't a calculus here where Elon's like, if I play this correctly, I can win back all kinds of support for middle America. I can win back all kinds of reputational capital for my brands.
Mhm.
And I can make it look like I saved the world from Trump's deathly omnibus bill, saved Medicaid, and saved the climate with these EV credits. But don't think for a second
Mm.
that the money underneath this, include making sure those EV credits to the tune of $550 million a year in North America alone, aren't the most important impetus behind the fight that you're seeing between Trump and Elon Musk right now.
It certainly seems to be the biggest public reason they're fighting. I just want to analyze these tweets a little bit more carefully, or these truths. So Trump is saying in the one, the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. So that includes SpaceX.
Yep.
It includes Starlink. It includes the Tesla companies. It includes, I don't know if X gets any subsidies, probably not.
Grok. It includes, It includes
Neuralink,
Grok, which is
probably.
in Doge. By the way, Grok
Yeah.
has worked his way into Doge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. All that AI. It includes his boring company. So there's about 5 or 6 companies
Right.
that he is now, and you knew that this was going to happen, right? He's now threatening to nationalize, take away from Elon Musk by removing all of the contracts for Elon Musk. So, and which is why Elon Musk is like, you're a fucking joke. You're a liar.
There's
I'm
a
going to live
billions and
40 years.
billions. It
You're going to
really
be
is
here for three and a
billions.
half. Yeah.
It really is billions of dollars. I mean, it's a
38 billion
sensational.
last
Yeah.
year. Yep.
And then he goes on to say Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that nobody else wanted. So did he ask him to leave? I mean, that's the biggest question I have. Like, I mean, there was this one photograph of them looking like they were fighting inside the Oval Office. Was that the moment that he actually told Elon Musk, you got to go? And that's when they found that convenient, government services contract thing, which only allowed him to be there for 130 days or 90 days, whatever the case might be. And then we saw them last week trying to repair it in the White House and in the Oval Office meeting. Maybe they were going to be able to leave this, this horrible fight behind them. And of course, we know that Musk showed up completely high, tripping out of his mind, and that turned out to be a real mess. So what happened between then and now is Elon Musk going crazy on the big, beautiful bill. I doubt he just figured out now that the EV mandates were in this bill. I don't think this was anything new for Elon Musk.
No, I think you're 100% right. And I was just thinking this, and then someone actually put it, because this is very Putin and oligarchy, right? This is
Mm,
like, when you watch Prigozhin get in the fight with Putin, and then all of a sudden Prigozhin's plane exploded in the middle
yeah.
of the sky.
Derek
Tom
Musk is
Elon,
another one who's had this conflict, has had Putin do this to him publicly.
yeah,
So it's a
yeah.
very typical Putin move.
So wouldn't it be weird if something happened to Elon Musk? Like, wouldn't it be weird? And it's back to the lying. Like, I mean, if I'm Elon, I'm staying away from windows or just living on the first floor of every house that I go in, not going anywhere else. Um,
But
but
Trump, I'd be more worried about Trump than Musk, at this point. Like, he's got, no one's suggesting anything's going to happen, but, he's definitely got a target
smart.
on his head. Yeah. So, he's
Yeah,
not
it's
leaving the
smart not
first
to
floor.
mention that in a live stream. Who might go first? But I'm telling you, this is very real.
Yeah.
Like, we postured over the past few days wondering about the validity of whether or not this was, performative or legitimate. And I don't think you can. And I don't. Trump kept his fucking mouth shut for a few days because he knows he needs Elon's money and digital network. He knows it. He knows it. He needs
Yeah.
everything that's attached to Elon, and he knows he doesn't win this election without the help of Elon Musk. He
Yeah.
knows it,
Yeah.
and so I'm shocked that he's actually gone this far, in the press conference in the Oval Office with the German chancellor, to effectively accuse him of being a poor loser, sore loser who's just no longer in his orbit. And now he's got Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
That guy, Elon Musk, prior to buying Twitter, literally had a reputation that, a lot of people knew he was a skeever, but, it was a pretty good reputation. He's obviously the
It's
richest
Time
guy in
Man
the
of the
world.
Year,
He was exactly. And he threw it all away the second he put that black MAGA hat on.
Mhm.
And he knows this too. He knows this. So the fight for Elon isn't just against Donald Trump. It's about clawing back part of that reputation. So I want everybody to watch and pay attention to how he frames this fight. He's going to frame it like he's doing it for the people. He's going to frame it like he's doing it for your children so you don't get sold into debt slavery for the rest of your life. He's going to frame it like I don't want America to go bankrupt. I want people to be able to eat, because this isn't just a fight for Elon. This is an opportunity for Elon, for himself, for his companies, and to move the old man, move Gramps, move the diaper wearing dotard out of the seat, because he's finished with him. His purpose with Donald Trump is over. And now what he wants to do is have peace in the Middle East for himself and his companies, and be allowed to do exactly what he wants to do, which is have you pay for his life and excellence.
Well, this
That's
is
it.
this is just breaking as we were talking here that Elon Musk just posted time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That isn't news, but nevertheless, there he is putting it out there. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. 5.7 million impressions already. And then he says, mark this post for the future, the truth will come out. Well, the truth is already out. We know exactly that real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. There's lots of evidence of that. I've documented it for years. If you go back to my reporting on Epstein, it's endless.
Oh my God, this is fucking
So
unbelievable.
I actually think, it'd be fair to say that Epstein and Donald Trump were in business together, doing all the things that they were doing together. Now, it's also interesting to me that Elon Musk is not disconnected from all of that. Elon Musk is, of course, also connected to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, so he would know a thing or two about real Donald Trump's involvement, as he puts it here on the Twitter or the X. I find it alarming. I mean, these guys are clearly involved in a very
Dude, do you know how huge this is?
it's pretty big. It's blowing up right now. But you've got this collusion between these people has been going on for decades. This has been a organized criminal deep state kind of event that's been going on for decades, and it's about to blow up publicly in a way that is going to be quite something. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes to get this escalating in the way it is, but it is true that Trump is in the in the Epstein files, and there's a long history of them being not only friends but working together on various things, including arms deals, including I'm just sort of stretching my memory back here to all the things we uncovered. But you remember there was that giant yacht that Khashoggi landed up giving to Donald Trump. Well, that was a little bit of evidence that they were involved in business together, because Epstein was involved with Khashoggi. So this yacht was given to Trump as a gift from the Sultan of Brunei or something like that. I can't remember the exact details, but nevertheless, that particular was one of the big signs that we had that they were together in the Epstein world, in part of this criminality. That was for weapons. Now, there's another thing that they were involved in, which is, of course, the alleged, rape of young women, where there was at least one case that was submitted, and there was the full-on affidavit inside there. It was later taken away, but if anyone's ever read that, it's a very disturbing account of how Epstein and Trump allegedly, although it was never filed in court because she was scared, I think, from doing that, how they allegedly, raped her at a young age. So this is all not new, but the fact that Elon Musk, who would have knowledge of all of this, Elon Musk is not blind to the events of the Epstein. I mean, there's a picture of him with Ghislaine Maxwell. There are
Email
obviously
correspondence, yeah.
yeah. There's just a connection between the intelligence agencies that they all work for. Epstein worked for the Russians. He worked for the Israelis. Musk works for the Russians. Trump works for the Russians. You can start seeing how there's a real connection there between all of those, and it all goes back to Russian intelligence. So there's a lot I've got to rethink about. I've got to go back through my files, my archive here, about all the connections between Musk and Trump and Epstein. But there is no doubt in my mind that Trump was very close to Epstein. And while I'm just riffing here because it's coming to my head, there was one point that Trump was bought the house that used to be owned by the guy who runs oh God, what's it called? It'll come to me. The Abercrombie and Fitch, the guy who owns that company, and he owns the other boob broth
Oh,
company.
Leslie
Victoria's
Wexner.
Secret. Yes,
Yeah,
Leslie
Wexner. Yeah.
Thank you, boobs. So there's a Leslie Wexner building that
The
was
girls with the boobs.
girls with the boobs.
Store.
I mean, I've been there to this fashion show. I've been to that thing. It's quite something.
I have too, and I've actually made an appointment to watch it every year that they have the Victoria's Secret special show, just because I'm me. So anyway,
because it's really amazing. I mean, it's amazing. These are statuesque bodies. They do amazing things. I'm going to look this up a little bit here, but there was a fight between Epstein and Trump to buy this house, this Wexler house. Originally, Epstein was going to buy it. And then Trump was able to find out that Epstein was going to do it. And then that's where their sort of bromance broke up, because they used to be best of friends. They used to be out and about all the time in New York and in other circles in Palm Beach.
Well, do you remember the Virginia Giuffre story, how she was recruited into the Epstein circle as a Mar-a-Lago spa attendant at the age of 15? Yeah.
At Mar-a-Lago.
Dead,
yeah.
By the way.
And so the history there is that the Russians actually came in and gave Trump the money to outbid Epstein on the purchase of the Wexler house. And that's where their relationship apparently broke up. But of course, it didn't break up then. They were still had contact behind the scenes. But publicly speaking, at least they were no longer together. But for many, many years, these guys were the biggest shots in the scene in New York City in the 90s. These were really big shots. And there's one really great moment, I think, as well, that worth remembering is that Trump was on board I guess it was called the Ghislaine Maxwell, but I don't remember the exact name of the yacht of Ghislaine's. I'm so blanking out on things today. I'm a little bit weary eyed. Ghislaine's father is Maxwell, Robert Maxwell, and he had a party where Trump came to see him, and aboard the yacht, Ghislaine Maxwell was there. And as I recall this, I think there's some speculation that Epstein was there as well, but I had no proof of them being there. But the fact that he was tied so closely to Epstein and Maxwell, and that Robert Maxwell really was, Epstein was Maxwell's heir apparent. The fact that those two are connected, that Trump and Epstein are connected is undoubted. It's very true. The fact that Elon Musk is doing this right now is crazy.
Up to 10 million views.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk, 22 minutes ago, just to recap. Welcome to the FiveStack, by the way. I'm Dean, that's Zev. We've been going on about story number 1, which is now story number 4, which is sort of story number 3.
It's going to be the whole show.
Elon Musk is going at Donald Trump like no one has ever gone at Donald Trump before. Donald Trump threatened to take away his EV mandates, threatened to cancel all his contracts, told everybody in a true social tweet he fired Elon because everybody fucking hated him, and they'll save billions by just getting rid of Elon. So now Elon's turn. Puts out a tweet 22 minutes ago. Time to drop the really big bomb, as you've actually just put this out as well. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And then subtweets, mark this post for the future. The truth will come out. So that isn't, and if you notice, Trump has really stayed away from talking about Epstein for quite some time. Trump also, when he talks about criminals coming into the United States, he's dropped the rape reference. It's now just criminals and mental patients and violent criminals be flooding him from mental institutions and mental asylums because he doesn't know what the word asylum means. When someone comes and asks for asylum, he keeps fucking it up because he's an idiot and a moron. And Elon Musk has effectively outed him as one of Elon Musk's pedophile island pedophile pals, saying that he truly does know for a fact the reason why we still don't have the Epstein files is because Donald Trump is littered in those Epstein files as someone who is a pedophile and joined Jeffrey Epstein on Pedophile Island many, many times, which is corroborated by so many different stories from so many women who have been validated by the arrest and recent death of Jeffrey Epstein. And Donald Trump has tried for so long to keep the bottle on this. Elon Musk just opened up the bottle and started spraying it around the room and said, mark my words, the truth will come out. Now he's pointed the entire fucking universe at Donald Trump, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and anybody associated with Donald Trump in covering up Donald Trump's alleged pedophilic behavior for decades with Jeffrey Epstein. Do you understand it as a newsman, how fucking huge this is?
Now, we have to be careful here. Just legally, I'm going to say this, that there is no evidence or proven evidence that Donald Trump has ever been involved in any pedophilic activities with Epstein. I don't believe that's ever been brought out in a court of law. And so there's accusations that have been leveled against him and have been removed. But is there more to the story? Of course, there might be more. But do we know for sure? Just for our,
I'm gonna correct you. There is a lawsuit that was launched by a woman who said she was 12 or 13 at the time.
That's the one I'm talking about. That's the only thing that we have. Just to be, there's an allegation that was withdrawn. I don't think it's, it's hard to imagine how they would be involved in all sorts of things. He said it himself that, Trump in an interview way back when, I think it was with the New York Times, said that Epstein liked girls on the younger side, just like him. They clearly enjoyed sex parties or whatever it is together. I don't know how they had that one big event at Mar-a-Lago where there was like 100 girls, women showing up with big breasts and all sorts of things. But were they underage? I don't know if we can ever confirm that they're underage, but the fact that he is very closely tied to Epstein is undeniable. I mean, you're absolutely right in every regard. You're saying that they're undeniably linked to each other, and you can assume maybe that would have led to some sort of underage raping of underage girls. But the fact that they were so closely tied is so significant because Trump is on the flight logs of going down to the islands, the Epstein Islands, on several occasions. And that's undeniably true that they were there together. He flew down there. There is an enormous amount of evidence about they used to go to Epstein's mansions a lot with a lot of young women there and other well-known notable celebrities. And of course, what I broke a few years ago was this notion that this was really a blackmail scheme by foreign intelligence services who were desperate to try and get Bill Clinton to stop being so supportive of the Palestinians and to stop being so progressive on this on a peace deal. So the Israelis didn't like it, the Russians weren't in favor of it, and that's why they blackmailed a lot of people along the way, and that's why there is still hundreds and hundreds of tapes out there apparently that someone has where there is evidence of of various famous people having sex with underage girls, which was the whole shtick. It was also the whole thing that they did. That's why Ghislaine procured the women or the young women, and that's why Epstein would then match them up with all these rich and powerful people.
Do you know how many times Donald Trump's name is in? Yes, popcorn, please. Thank you. Hi, Annie. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bombshell. Elon Musk just outed Donald Trump as Epstein's pedophile buddy. Says he has proof.
Wow.
Do you know how many times he was on the flight logs, Donald Trump? I have a
I
number here.
Okay, if you have the number, I can pull up my reporting on it as
26.
well. But yeah, 26. Yeah, this sounds about
26
right.
times. 26 times Donald Trump's name was entered into the Lolita Express flight log. That was Epstein's plane. Do you know how many women? 27. Pardon me. Thanks, PJ Schuster. Do you know how many women have credibly accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct, rape, sexual assault, some underage? Do you know how many?
Must be like a dozen, I think.
Yeah, it's 21.
Wow.
That was my count yesterday. All associated with this. 21 different women, never met each other. Virginia Giuffre, one of them, admitted and has been paid out by Prince Andrew and several other people that she was passed around to for her silence, admitted under oath that she was recruited. Ghislaine Maxwell said, yeah, that's where I met her. At Mar-a-Lago as a spa attendant for Donald Trump. Several of those women, the 21, have said that they worked at Mar-a-Lago for Donald Trump. So I'm siding with Elon Musk on this one.
I'm not saying that there isn't evidence. There's just no absolute proof. I mean, there's no guilty verdict. And because he is the president of the United States, we have to be very careful about making allegations that are, not proven in court. I'm just legally just saying that because it is important to say. Now,
I think he's got bigger fish to fry than Demon Zev on the FiveStack.
I am still, I'm still going to be a journalist till the very last minute here.
Yeah, go ahead. I've never claimed to be a journalist. I'm a muckraker. That's what I'm just
do. I'm just here to give you some legal backstop. But clearly they were involved. I mean, clearly they were involved in a lot of things, and it's the thing which is most surprising to me after all these years of research into Epstein and Trump, which I've done, is that it's not really about the blackmail and it's not really about the girls. That was really just a side effect of all the other stuff that they were involved in. Because what they really were involved in is the incredible amounts of money laundering from really wealthy despots around the world, including some very famous, royal families. And that they also were involved in a lot of weapons trading, which this is really where it's where Epstein initially got his thing, his start. So this is a much bigger criminal organization that involves many intelligence agencies, involves all sorts of organized criminal activity around the world, and it all connects under the Epstein umbrella. But then there's also the question of, well, who took over from Epstein? Like, really, where did the Epstein empire head to? Who took over that whole branch of content and of content of business? And it's a good question. Is Elon Musk really the heir apparent to Epstein? Is he the guy who ultimately took the throne of the sort of the intelligence agencies, American conduit? It could be. It could be that Elon Musk knows a lot more than he's even revealing here in this little tweet. Than he's willing to say about the history of Epstein and how they all connect to Elon Musk, because it's the same group of companies, same group of countries, same group of people that are attached
Yep.
to all of these things. Makes me very suspicious.
Yeah. And listen, Jeffrey Epstein, since his death, has been outed as a Mossad agent. He's also been outed as a CIA informant. He's also been outed as someone that had very close relationships with members of Russia's FSB. And we're watching it's strange, but we're watching the Puff Daddy trial.
Mhm.
And you're going to start getting into rumors and whispers of other people being honeypotted. There are several people in this world who are so wealthy, who are beyond the reach of most laws, who are wanted by so many different governments because of their wealth, because of their connections, because they can get messages to people, that the FBI and the CIA for a very long time, and listen, Canada does this with CSIS too. They'll go to a billionaire who's traveling to country X, and they'll say, "We would like to send someone along with you on your flight, get them in and out of the country. We need you to be here at this time. Will you do this for us?" And the answer is yes. And so, I think you're questioning about whether or not Elon Musk has sort of filled that gap as an informant, a billionaire informant who can get in and out of countries, can get in and out of the Kremlin or the Oval Office or some of the most secure places in the world because of his influence. But you're also watching a drug addict blow it all up, right? Whether or not that any of those affiliations with intelligence services in different countries might be true, you're watching a guy do and this is the brilliance of what he's doing, even though I can't stand the man. By the way, Canada's considering banning Starlink. That's a new post
They
I put
have
up
to.
today.
Everyone needs
Yeah,
to
as
ban
of
Starlink.
today.
Starlink is one of the most dangerous things in the entire world. It's uh,
But the what you're seeing right now is what every single human being who's ever been broken up with wants to do, right? Which is send a kill shot across the bow to destroy the reputation of the person who hurt you. And most people almost every person in Elon's position, if they're lucky enough to ever be in a position like Elon's in, would think better of doing what they did if what I just saw Elon Musk do is in which it is one of those things that everybody who goes through a breakup wants to do to the person who broke up with them. They want to end their lives, don't fuck around in the middle. They allude to things. They might threaten with an illusion of like, hey, you probably don't want me saying anything about this. And they'll wait for a private phone call and they'll go, okay, I won't say anything. That was your warning shot. That wasn't a warning shot. That was death by tweet. That was Donald Trump is a pedophile and I have proof in a tweet.
you
Like,
know the sorry.
wow.
The thing that
Wow.
I agree with you. This is a real shot across the bow, but it's also could be a completely orchestrated out of Russia, orchestrated attempt to go after Trump. They might have had run out of usefulness for the president of the United States, and Musk and Johnson and Rand Paul are all singing the same kind of tune about the big beautiful bill, which means that must be a coordinated effort out of the Kremlin to weaken Trump, to go after Trump. That's it puts us all in a weird position where we're just watching these two terrible people fighting each other. We don't know who to pick. It's great to see Donald Trump be weakened. It's not great that the president of the United States is being attacked through a Russian asset by the Kremlin. But those two things happen to be true at this particular point. We're looking at both an intelligence operation and a real political drama that's unfolding right now in the United States, and it's happening in real time. But is it coordinated? I bet you it's coordinated.
I think it is These are educated possible outcomes that they have plans for, and they all end the same way with the destruction of Donald Trump as the president of the United States and the installation of one
Well,
J.D.
except
Vance.
I'll add one more thing. The person who actually does have all the evidence about whether Trump and Epstein did anything together, the person who's got all those files is actually Vladimir Putin, because they took all those files from this guy who was an informant it was former police, not chief, but a sheriff in one of those beach county, Palm Beach area police departments, and he suddenly found his way into Russia and is left the United States in a hurry and sort of became a permanent resident of Russia. And he was alleged to have had all those tapes. So think about it. Epstein was a spy for the Russians.
I hadn't heard that.
All that information would have gone either to the Israelis or to the Russians, but all that videotape, all that stuff would have been handed over to them. So if anyone wanted to say to the world, Donald Trump was involved with Epstein and annihilate his career, well, you would do that through Vladimir Putin could do it, and you would do it through your subsidiary, your Elon Musk asset that you've got in the United States as the one with the biggest platform, the one with the ability to reach all Americans at one moment, and you would do that when you were ready to get rid of your candidate that became the president, but maybe he's lost his usefulness.
Yeah, I mean, so many different tentacles to what we're watching, whether it be foreign interference, international pedophile rings, greed, the canceling of government contracts for Elon Musk, quite possibly the removal of Donald Trump if Elon Musk gets his way, which is next, by the way, right? Like he effectively said that in a couple of tweets. He's like, he's going to be there for 3.5 years, baby. I'll be around for another 40. I am in the government, and he's left his mark with Doge. We still don't know what he took. I mean, for all intents and purposes, because he's been through the FBI, he's been through the CIA, he's been through the most sensitive data the United States of America owns. What did he cherry pick? Did he cherry pick? Does he have those files? Did he take those? Are they uploaded to some Starlink data bank somewhere where no one else has access to it but him? I mean, that's the kind of tweet where you accuse Donald Trump of pedophiling with Jeffrey Epstein, saying you have proof. And by the way, mark this for later because it will be borne out as true. That's the kind of thing you don't make an educated guess about. That's the kind of thing that you say when you have a bird in hand, so to speak. So, yeah, I mean, my God, what a day. I've really enjoyed content today.
Yeah,
Really enjoyed it
really,
for the first time in a long time.
It's really out there. It's like watching a real time wrestling match. Really, it's ridiculously entertaining, but it's also has a lot of implications for the world. And if the American president is being castrated in this way, which it looks like they're trying to do, they're trying to completely make him a lame duck president with no achievement at all and with no no policy achievements, and also this big fight now and this reputation damaging. What that leaves in the United States is very concerning. Is that just a very weakened, emptied presidency, or one that's about to be taken over by the oligarchs? That are the digital oligarchs and
the digital oligarch coup is on.
Yeah, we're in the middle of a coup. So that could be probably the best description of what's going on right now. Is that we are in a bit of a coup situation.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, there's no other explanation for it. Is that Trump has his entire life, he has spent taking credit for other people's work. His entire life he's spent telling everybody that he's the best. No one's ever done anything like this but me. I might be the greatest president since George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. People tell me I'm the greatest. And, even the pedophile stuff doesn't match how angry Donald Trump gets or will get or probably is with the one tweet from Elon Musk saying, and I quote, "If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be president. You would have lost 51-49. You would not have the Senate. You would not be president. You would not have Congress. You are fucking ingrateful." That tweet alone would make a guy like Donald Trump, who holds himself out to be this political fucking genius and a god, like a cult god. That tweet alone, because deep down he knows it, will drive Donald Trump insane. And in my mind, is the one tweet where he's going to chase this down and ruin his life and his presidency, trying to prove to people that it wasn't Elon Musk, it was him, because him is the most important person in the world in any capacity when he talks about any success that he has. He never gives credit to anybody else. He never thanks Elon. He just continues to go about and pretend that he just brought all these people along and he's a fucking stable genius. He's an idiot. He's an idiot who has been used by everybody around him, whether it's the Koch brothers, whether it's lobbyists, whether it's Elon Musk. And this is the beautiful part about Donald Trump, is that he accepts all that help and thinks that he is above the fray. We're watching for the first time someone in his universe call him out, tell him that he's not the person he thinks he is, call him a pedophile with proof, and basically say, you're on the clock. Elon Musk, not Donald Trump, is the most powerful man in America today, without question.
Well, we shall see how it plays out, but he certainly has a lot of power. And that tweet is so interesting because is he saying that he actually rigged the election for Donald Trump? And if he's saying that, any sober-minded individual would say we have to investigate the results of the elections. He's not saying it directly, but it sure does indicate that he may have messed around with some things. I mean, he could have done it legally, but he could also have done it illegally. And he certainly, in my opinion, did it with the help of Vladimir Putin and a few Russian oligarchs that were sponsoring everything.
Won't it be great to watch all that information come out? Watching Flower,
I'm
the
here, I'm
angrier
ready.
and the more
Bring it
drugged
on.
up Elon gets.
Bring it
He's
on.
going to do a 2 a.m. tweet with a screenshot of Donald Trump with a 14-year-old. He's going to do a 3 a.m. tweet or 4 a.m. tweet of, a certain congressman who's going back at him, in a state of undress with like another dude. Like that's where we're going. We're going down the road of everything that you thought was true. Everybody's secret that stands against Elon Musk now is shitting their fucking pants. Like they're shitting their pants. He has your information. He's got all of it. Every one of you. He's got it. And he is not just unafraid, he's on crack. So,
he'll do anything.
Don't put it past him. He'll fucking tweet anything at this point. The guy's so wasted all the time, and he's got everything to lose at this point. He's just had his entire livelihood and everything he's built threatened by Donald Trump in one tweet. So It's on, baby. I'm looking forward
that's
to it.
never going to happen, and he knows it's never going to happen. He's just having he's really sensitive. He's really thin-skinned. Is Elon
Both
Musk?
of them
My
are.
experience with him. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. These powerful men with so much power, and they just the smallest little thing will just set them off.
Pussies.
We never got to the rest of the top five today because it was just too exciting to talk about everything else. But I did want to mention, because it's worth everyone's attention, that remember the other day when we told you about 18-year-old Brazilian student who was arrested on his way to volleyball practice. It landed up causing protests across Massachusetts. So he has now been ordered to release, just happened before we got on the air, on a $2,000 bond, which also seems ridiculous. Marcelo Gomes da Silva on a student visa that has since lapsed. So ICE admits that wasn't even their target. They were looking for his father. He remains free, but they still, $2,000 later to get this kid out of jail after being held by ICE. So wrong and just so typical of this mishandled administration.
Yeah, $88,000 was raised for his GoFundMe. I think it's actually over 100 now, as I sit here. A couple days in jail. Kid gets a head start with $100,000. The entire town came to rally around him. He posted a $2,000 bail, but just keep that in mind. He's out on bail. $2,000 cost this kid who did nothing wrong, and his crime was being the son of an immigrant. Okay,
yeah,
that's it. And go ahead.
No, you go.
No, and if you want to look for a silver lining here, there's another illegal immigrant in the United States of America who's threatening Donald Trump as we speak. So maybe those ICE agents get to pay a visit to Elon Musk's house. Maybe he records a video on his iPhone of guys banging on his door.
Well, wouldn't that be sweet justice? That would be nice. I like it. That is the FiveStack. Only it was a one stack today. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your support. It means the world to us. Thank you, Dean Blundell from the deanblundell.substack.com, where you get all the latest news about Elon Musk and Trump right at your fingertips before anybody else. Everyone should check it out. And I'm Zev Shalev from narrative.org, where you can read and write about. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put all my Epstein stuff up. I've got so much stuff about
Redo it.
Trump and
Yeah,
Epstein.
do it.
Tombs of it. I'm going to put it all out on narrative.org in the next few days. So everyone can judge for themselves if they were in business together or not.
All right,
That
buddy.
is the Substack.
Thanks.
FiveStack.
Bye.
Bye.